Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be checking out a Pico powered 3D printed headphones called Ploopy Headphones. So let's get started. Now everything we talk about will be linked down in the description below, and the company also has other products that are 3D printed like mouses and everything. So definitely check them out. Now I do want to thank them for sending this over to me for a review. So yeah, we're going to check it out. All right, so this is the packaging that it comes in. So you see two Ziploc bags. This has all the foam and the driver board. Actually, not the driver board, but the DAC. And this is all the plastic pieces for the headphone itself. And inside this envelope here is the DAC. And it's not the DAC, the drivers. But it's really, really cool. This actually weighs, it has some weight to it. It's really, didn't think it would weigh like this, but that's the driver board that you gotta solder everything onto, and I get two of those, and some foam pieces inside as well. So I have another two drivers right over here, which I will have to work on. Now, I feel that this would have benefit from at least some sort of packaging. Now, I don't know if this is they just sent it to me because I'm really friendly with them and they're like, here you go, or is this the way they would send to clients? But I would feel like it would benefit if it was in something like this. Now this is for my Zima board, and you know how small the Zima board is. It's just a single board computer, but they put it in this really cool package. I see if they put all this item inside here with all the tools and everything to put it together, I would feel like it's really impressive. The presentation itself would be like, okay, I really want to build this. Open it up and here you go. And then eventually maybe the foam pieces inside, you could actually, once everything is installed, it could go back into a briefcase type style. It doesn't have to be this big, but some sort of packaging other than Ziploc bags, I think would have benefit from this, because I want to build this so bad, but it would look better in a full packaging form where you open up and you have to dissect everything and put everything together. I thought that would be really cool. So anyway, I'm going to be putting this together, so enjoy this time lapse. Now, I am not an audiophile, so my experience with audio is pretty limited, but I do use headphones a lot. So take my word for it when I say these are on a different league compared to what I've been using, which is the Sennheiser 280 Pros. From my experience, what I hear is that there are more ranges involved in this, meaning when I was watching the show Star Trek Strange New Worlds, their voices sound different on this headphone compared to my Sennheisers. And everything, like I said, I'm going to be comparing to my Sennheisers because this is what I'm familiar with. And when I say different, their tones and everything just sound completely different. So leads me to think they are using a more higher quality drivers than what's inside the Sennheiser. When you're listening to music, you could actually adjust the equalizer to be a little bit more bassier, like you could feel it. One of the designs that I like about this is that it is not solid like the Sennheiser, so it does allow audio to pass through. So when I am wearing it, not only do my ears not get sweaty and hot, I could also hear voices. So if my son's calling for me or my wife's calling for me, I could hear them through the headphones. And I actually did not know what the Pro stands for on these. The Pro is meant to be enclosed so you don't hear outside noises. And this is made to encapsulate your head more, so it's pressed against your ear. So using my Sennheisers for like an hour or two, I get sweaty, I'm uncomfortable. Compared to when I use these headphones, the Ploopy headphones, my ears don't sweat. I could use them for 3 or 4 hours at a time, play games. Sometimes I don't even notice they're really on because they're not squeezing my head and I'm able to hear everything. So I could be watching a TV show and still respond to, my wife or my son and not have a problem with taking them off or anything compared to these Sennheisers, which is a huge benefit for my environment. The majority of the cost, I believe, is in the driver board itself and also on the DAC. Now the DAC is powered by a Raspberry Pi Pico, so it's pretty cool that they have RP2040 in there, and it uses the same. You could actually go into the boot menu, you could upload the UF2 files to update the firmware, and from receiving this, which was about a month ago, till now, they already made 2 different revisions, which also helped with equalizers and stuff. Now, Ploopy headphones also have their own software where you are able to adjust every band and put the frequencies that you want. So yes, it does have a personal equalizer in there. You could go through that menu to turn the Pico into bootloader mode, so you can upload the firmware. There's things that you need that software to do especially increasing the levels and all, which is much easier than going into the firmware and modifying yourself. Now, all this stuff is open source, so you're able to go into the code, modify what you do need, and upload it and try it out for yourself, or you could use the code that they generate and just upload it. What's also cool is every part on this can be 3D printed. So this is one of their earpieces that they sent me, and this one is the 3D printed version that I made. You could just download their STL files, import it into your Cura, and if you have mesh tools, which you can add through the plugins, you can right click on the actual model, break apart each piece, and just print whatever you need. So you don't have to print out the whole headphones. You could just print out this piece if you need just the earpiece. Now, when it does come shipped, everything gets shipped with the 3D printed part. They don't sell anything individual, so they don't just sell the driver board, they just don't sell the Pico board. Everything has to be purchased, either assembled or disassembled, and it comes with all the hardware that you need. I would say about 90% of this, or 95% of this, everything is 3D printed. Aside from the foam pieces that you're using, the screws, the hardware basically, and the sock, you would call it, or the cotton, everything else is 3D printed. Even the adjustments for how hard you want the headphones to clamp onto your head, that's also 3D printed, the springs. Now, it is pretty big in comparison. When my wife saw it the first time, she thought it was like ginormous compared to the Sennheisers. And when you put it on your head, it does look pretty big itself, but it's actually very, very comfortable. I like the fact that it is bigger than normal because my ear fits in there perfectly compared to this where it actually pushes my ear back a little, and again, that causes a little bit more pain and discomfort. So overall, I do like the design of this, even though it's a little bit bigger. Now, as far as the specs go, I'm going to leave their website. He has all the frequency ranges and the tests that he's done. I did do an interview with them as well, and if you were to compare the drivers that they're using on this headphone, it's definitely no comparison to the Sennheisers. That's what they tell me, and you would compare them to almost like $400 to $500 sets of headphones. That's how the quality goes. And I personally can hear the difference. Again, I'm not an audiophile, and to be able to hear the difference in those ranges is amazing. It's like noises that I'm hearing for the first time when I'm using this headphone. Now, a couple of things that I do hope that they change in the future is one, they would create a new headphone piece without holes, because it's night and day when there's holes and not. It's a lot louder when they are covered. The downside to that is now that there's no audio passing through, I have that one problem where I can't hear my son. But I would like the option to be able to either create some sort of piece that you could clip onto these holes, so I get a choice if I want to block it out or not, because the audio does change and it does sound a lot louder and bassier when it is covered. Two, I would want an on and off switch on the actual DAC itself. This way, it's quicker for my audio selection. Instead of going to the audio menu and choosing what audio devices I want, I could just turn it on and off. This way, I could quickly choose between the headphones. When I power it on, my computer will know to automatically choose the headphones, power it off, or go back to my speakers. So that's another option I wish they would put in the future. Three, which is something I think they're working on, where these have two ports, one on each ear. I rather prefer it coming out from one hole instead of two. That's just my thing, because I tend to have this really far away from my computer, and having two cords, I think it's just in my mind. Similar to something like this, where you have just one cord coming out from one side of the earpiece. That's one thing I would want in the future for this. But otherwise, for being a set of headphones, they are really good quality. Volume is a little low at times, but I blame that for this being a pass-through headphone, because once I closed it up, I taped it up before myself and I tried it out, it was really loud. But having it open like this does reduce the volume a bit, so I did have that little bit to complain about. Now, everything on the connectors is USB-C, so you could actually plug this into your phone. You could plug this into other devices. Since it's a DAC, it's its own sound driver or sound card. Plugging it into a device like your phone or your PC works perfectly fine. It'll actually detect it as audio device. Anyway, that is it for me, guys. I really do enjoy using these headphones. I am actually going to do a second review on this after like another couple of months of using it, because using it only for a couple of weeks, it's very hard to judge over time to see the wear and tear, how the audio goes, especially when the software, every time when they update it, everything changes. So I am going to revisit this headphone probably in 2 or 3 months from now. If you guys have any questions about this, hit me up down in the comments below or on my Discord, because I could actually pass the message along. And if you guys have any thoughts that I can't answer, I'll probably be able to get an answer for you guys. And if you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hit that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.